Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 12.
I know y'all not asleep. This episode coming out tonight. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Kelli arrives to Shamia's house, and Shamia's on the phone talking about, hey, best friend, I'm in the backyard. She feels like Kelli's opened up to her, and she found a friend in her. They are going to co-host a cast trip to Grenada. They are also going to give back to the people there while they're out there. Kelli talks about how she's coming up on her divorce date. It's been 2 years of her going through this divorce, and it has drained her in all of the ways. Apparently, there was a bill that was $158,000 she had to pay towards her divorce.
You first or me first?
You go first.
First of all, she just met Kelli for being on this show, right? And she already got the title best friend. I guess you don't believe in no probation period or anything like that, right? It's giving, you know what? I'm going through something with my real best friend, so I'm going to make my real best friend jealous and call you best friend on camera so she can get some act right in her. You get what I'm saying? Hey, you have Cynthia, Porsha, I'm going to get Kelli, and we're going to be twinning until we actually get back on a good foot. You see, this is actually the part, if y'all watch our deep dives throughout this week, we released a lot of Real Housewives of Atlanta content this week. I said I do not understand this platonic friendship between women to where in a way it turns into a romantic relationship to where now I'm trying to make you jealous by being passive aggressive, calling other people best friend. I've been friends with you since I was 7, but this person I met 7 weeks ago, I call them best friend and y'all on the same level. It's given trying to make Porsha jealous. What is your thoughts, Blair?
Yeah, when I saw that, it was a little striking, and I think that's why the producers asked her a question about it too, and she just kind of went into, well, you know, you can find a friend anywhere, and I found her a friend. I found a friend within her, and all that type of stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, like you absolutely can, but you know, I think people use the word friend, bestie very loosely, and it could be a thing of where she's not really on great ground with Porsha, so she needs somebody else to cling to. I mean, she was telling Cynthia, you know, if you need a best friend, I'm available.
That's what was going on. But my thing is, it's the whole best friend thing. The best friend thing was intentional. The best friend title was one. And now, granted, last week when Porsha was playing spades with the silverware on the table, that was very disrespectful. And I can see how you would feel kind of like, you know what? I'm not happy where we are, even though I said, you know, we're good, you know? But at the same time, to try to make it seem like Kelli could just be a friend. You don't have to make it seem like it's more than that. You just met her. She's a castmate. That's enough for y'all to have a scene. You don't have to make it seem like, you know what? I found a friend that I could be, that I could have fun with. And you know what? We freaking, you know, I give and receive with this best friend. It just came off as, you know what? A jealous ex, and you're trying to make me jealous and things like that. And to me, it came off as a little weird. But I'm going to get more into it in the episode.
So we see Porsha view a home with her sister and her mom. 8 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, $4.2 million. Whew. Miss Diane making jokes talking about, well, I'm gonna have to leave my house and move in here. That ain't much of a joke now.
No, it's not.
I think she got plans. So Portia's getting anxious the closer that she has to go to court. In her first marriage, when she was going through that divorce, she walked away with nothing. She didn't even want to go to court. In this marriage, she says that she pretty much got everything together to where she wouldn't have to leave and be in that same position as her first divorce. She tells them that she's going on the girls trip, and Porsha says that she and Shamia talked. They're good. All they have to do is let the other ladies know that they're good. And she is just trying to love. If my love doesn't hold us together, then you can seek it somewhere else. Now, that was edited. I will say that was edited, but I do believe it was directed at Shamia. So
here's the thing about it, right? I can see Portia's point in the whole sense of, hey, closed mouths don't get fed. You said we was good, and now you're making us talk about this on camera, right? Cool. I would think Porsha would be at least, wise enough to be like, okay, let me not look like a total a-hole while my friend is expressing herself. And even though she said we're good and we are kind of rehashing some things in the past, at least on camera, I'm not going to, as I said before, play spades with the silverware. You get what I'm saying? Right here lets me know what she really thought of the whole conversation. She thought of it like, oh, it was nothing. You get what I'm saying? Like, basically, like, you know, we had our talk with, I had my talk with Shamia and things like that, and we should be good. And guess what? If I'm not good enough, then go find your best friend somewhere else. You know what I mean? And if you go back to last episode, me and Blair was laughing about it while watching this episode. She said, listen, I was trying to stop an ambush, just trying to stop, you know, basically Shamia pouring out her heart is basically Porsha see it as an ambush, and basically like I was trying to stop something that was going to be chaotic for us, you know, and not really taking it as, you know what, my friend is crying out for help, even though we already had this conversation. She still feels some type of way about it, and I'm hearing it from everybody except for her. Yes, I can put some blame on Shamia for expressing that to other people outside of Porsha, but at the same time, that doesn't change the fact that she feels some type of way. And if that's my sister, I could come to my sister and be like, hey, sis, I don't like the fact that you talk to everybody outside of me. I thought we was closer than that. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, you can acknowledge someone's wrong while at the same time acknowledging that, hey, I did not mean to make you feel that way. I apologize. Porsha didn't do that.
And I feel like her comment here on this episode of saying, I'm just trying to love you. If you don't want my love, get it from somewhere else. I think that also kind of points to the fact that, like, yeah, you don't really listen to her. You are dismissive of her. You're just focused on the fact that you love her, but your actions don't matter.
No, they don't.
But I did want to talk about this house, though.
Help me.
The house is beautiful.
It is.
Does Porsha need an 8-bedroom house? Just from our perspective, we don't know her or anything like that, or anything she got going on. But just from a viewer looking in, to me, I'm just like, this is feeling a little bit like a Keeping Up with the Joneses type of thing.
Well,
I'm just like, so you came from a huge, of course she, you know, had her own home that she purchased. And then she moved in with Simon, which was a very big home. Shamia has the hall.
Pretty much,
that they're trying to fill up with babies. And, you know, she said that she's trying to kind of, you know, look forward, and this is a motivation for her, you know, to move forward in life. But I'm just wondering, why does Porsha need an 8-bedroom house?
Well, put it like this. Portia's whole life is keeping up with the Joneses.
Okay.
Marrying Simon was keeping up with the Joneses and things like that. Being with these other celebrities is keeping up with the Joneses, right? Only thing I will say, and maybe this is in defense of Porsha, or maybe not, there's not a lot of 3-bedroom mansions. Like she's not going to go from living in a mansion all these years to, like, you know what, I'm going to get a townhouse. You get what I'm saying? So she's looking for another mansion. She could, listen, I'm surprised that it's $4 million. Right? It could be higher. You know, some people want to go 10 to 15, $20 million. But it's the fact that she's getting another house. Truth be told, honestly, I would just kick my mama out my house and get her a townhouse, because mama don't need my house.
Right.
You do. You get what I'm saying? Mama got her own life and things of that nature. So I would have just kicked her out my house and say, hey, I thought that I was going to stay married, but I'm not. I'll get you another house. You get what I'm saying? Besides you plotting on this house that I didn't even buy yet. You know what I mean? So that's what I would do. But yeah, there's no 3-bedroom mansion. So off top, if you're going to buy a $4 million house, it's going to be 6+ bedrooms.
And the thing is, if she can afford it, she can do it. She can live out her dreams to buy whatever house that she wants to. But I'm just like, it seems a little excessive.
Well,
just a little.
Well, here's the thing. Unfortunately, I think she feels like she have to do that because there's been so much restrictions on what she couldn't do this season. So a lot of things that she's doing now are basically showing up as a true housewife, besides showing up as a housewife / friend of and things like that. She can't film in her house. She can't really show her lifestyle and things like that. She's basically prepping for next season. So she don't want to be the one of listen here. I can admit when I'm wrong. When the first episode of this season came out, we looked at Shamia's house and I was like, oh yeah, this is the lifestyle that, like, I like to see. This is the Real Housewives of Atlanta, going back to the roots of it. And I even said Shamia will be, you know, the anchor of the show. I am a liar. I am wrong. Right? But at the same time, I think Porsha just feels like, you know what? In order for me to really be the anchor of the show, I have to have the house. I have to have the car. I have to have the look. You get what I'm saying? So I have to have the aesthetics of it.
Yeah. And I will say that I do have always liked Housewives because it was just over the top. Yeah. So I don't expect Porsha to live in a townhouse, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bathhouse. Like nothing like that. Like, I definitely love to see the opulence and the wealth.
Yeah.
And I will say that, but it just looks like, I don't know. I always feel like Portia's chasing the wind. I don't know why.
Porsha go get something from that divorce. So if there is something to be got, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So Shamia goes to the radio station to discuss her music.
Yeah.
They actually mention Drew, but Shamia tries to keep the conversation on her and her single and how she's actually authentic.
Yeah.
She apparently is still beefing with Drew because Drew called her a lapdog.
Yeah. did Drew take the picture of you sitting on Porsche lap like this, like a lap dog with your tongue out? Mm-hmm. Like. Here's the thing about it, right? And somebody said it. I don't know who said it. I don't know if I saw it on Twitter. I don't know if I saw it on YouTube. But somebody said maybe Shamia is, secretly maybe the undertone of Shamia's beef with Drew is that she's jealous of Shamia's jealous of Drew's career, right? Granted, both of y'all career just started. It's not like Drew is a Grammy-winning artist and things like that. She just have a finished product that she put out. You finish a product, and then you will put it out, right? I always look at situations like this, and I kind of judge people's character of seeing, like, how you talk about somebody, especially when they are in a position where you want to be. She want to be known as the singer of the show. She don't want to be always compared to Drew. Every scene, every show, Shamia is going to sing something. She sung almost this whole segment right here. So I looked at Shamia and I was like, you got to get that out your heart. Because how you going to win if you ain't right within? Lauryn Hill, she may not be on time. But listen, that was a true statement all in all. And I've seen it personally. You're not going to win in life unless you're right within. So whatever jealousy she may feel, whatever she may feel like, you know what, I don't want to be compared to Drew. She shouldn't have even brought up Drew in her interview about this is your song. You get what I'm saying? So
she didn't bring up Drew.
But my whole thing is she should have just kept it going. Like, as in, like, basically said something that is positive about Drew and things of that nature. Don't make no passive aggressive things about it, and just keep it positive. Just be like, Drew put out a project. She's working on a project. I can't wait to hear it. I went to the studio with her that one time. It sounded good and things like that. Yeah. Y'all gotta get her up here because her music sounds good. You know, like, besides making it sound, nice, nasty. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What is your thoughts?
Yeah, I just think the beef is dumb. I mean, plenty of people have called Shamia lapdogs, and she's been able to get over it. I mean, Phaedra's coming back on the show, and she about to be buddy with Phaedra, and Phaedra said that she was sleeping with people while she was engaged.
Crazy.
So that's why I'm just like, I cannot take this beef seriously. It just feels like Shamia and Porsha have just gathered together to say, we not going at each other, we going at Drew.
Yeah.
And
guess what? Everybody saw that Drew interview with Carlos. So we already know, and guess what? We did not have to see that interview to know that, hey, Porsha, you're not being real. And to your point, Blair, this whole beefing with Drew thing comes off as, you know what, I just want to impress my real best friend. You know what, Porsha going at Drew, I'm going to go at Drew because I was called a lapdog. Even though I watch What Happened Live this season, in the first Watch What Happened Live with this cast, and guess what Shamia did? She barked and act like a lapdog in that. So I really don't understand it.
So we learned that Britt is working on her bare and naked shapewear line, and she's going to have an event for the drop.
I ain't going to hold you. I forgot she was on the show. I ain't going to lie to you.
So Angela and Charles go to one of the properties that she's renovating. Of course, we know that she has 7 investment properties, $2 million in debt, which is crazy to hear no matter how many times we hear it.
No, it's wild.
They paid $490K, or she paid $490K for her mom and sister for the house that they lived in. And now that they're moving out, she feels like her efforts were in vain.
Yeah.
So Angela and Charles were talking about the day that she got upset with Charles because of the cleaning situation, and she apologizes to him for not hearing him out. Every time her mom comes around, she would be hard on Charles, and she feels like she wasn't right for that. Now, Angela and Charles, they are going to go to Britt's event, but Angela says that she will do the speaking in order to not have Charles get into it with Britt.
I wonder, Blair, correct me if I'm wrong, right? I don't know the foundation of Angela's and Charles' relationship when it comes down to, instead of Angela having to go to the bank for loans to get these properties, I just go to my man Charles. And maybe Charles feels some resentment because he haven't recouped any of his money. You get what I'm saying? He's like, hey, he's kind of holding the wedding that they supposed to have, the celebration of their marriage over her head. Like, hey, you got some things to do before we even start talking about that. If you remember that episode, early on. I wonder is she the Robin Dixon of this show right here? I
would not even put them in the same field at all.
The reason why I say that is because I feel like if Charles is investing in her and she's $2 million in debt, like, even though I feel like, hey, with Juan, he was the one that gave her all the money and basically put her in charge of everything. I feel like Charles put a cap on how much money I'm going to give you before you do anything. Help me with this.
But do we know that Charles gave her the money to fund it? I don't know that.
I don't know where she's getting the money from. I'm just trying to do 1 + 1 here. I feel like Charles is helping her.
Okay.
And I feel like Charles is basically saying, hey, You got these 7 properties. None of them is sold. Don't talk to me about no wedding.
See, I'm just not completely sold that he's giving her all the money because they were living in the same building together of how they met. Okay. So to me, that makes me think that she clearly was doing well for herself if she's living in the same building as Charles Oakley.
Or maybe not.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, because I don't know that to be fact, then I don't know about the money situation in that way. I just think it's crazy to be $2 million in debt.
Well, it is crazy. Well, one thing we know for certain is Charles said he ain't until that what made me think that he is a partner with her with these investments, because he said we're not doing the wedding until
and I think partner's fair, but him funding everything, I don't know, possibly.
What else is a partner? He's probably the money. Now I'm just going by what I think, right? What other way is he the partner? He ain't over here painting. He ain't over here moving things around and things like that. He ain't the one selling the house. So I'm thinking maybe he's the one that be like, hey, I go half with you on buying the properties and things like that. But guess what? You got to sell them.
Yeah, but I wouldn't compare it to Robin because Robin got swindled. They gave their money to a person and then the money was gone. At least they have these properties to try to recoup some type of money, even if it's the same amount that they end up with.
Yeah, because here's the thing about it. Just because you buy property doesn't mean you can sell it. Yeah. And real estate is not as easy as everybody keeps saying. Hey, the best way to get wealth is just get into real estate. Listen here, everybody's into real estate. And now it's on the personal, can you sell? At the end of the day, you are a salesman, and it's hard to be a salesman. Yeah. So hopefully, listen here, she said she is $2 million in debt, and she said she's scared. I'd be scared too.
Oh, for sure.
Because knowing the type of guy Charles is, he's not going to write a $2 million check to get you out of debt. He seemed like the type to be like, you got yourself in this mess, you get yourself out this, you get yourself out this mess. So good luck, Angela. Like really, there's nothing else that you can really say. Even her saying that, hey, I'm about to sell this house, or basically I got to market this price down to basically the price that I brought it, and then I'm basically breaking even. And you may not even break even, but I will say, going back to her mother, R.I.P., no disrespect to her mother, if I buy my parents a house, or if I buy you a house for you to retire in, for you to live in and things like that, do not come to me talking about you want to buy yourself your own house.
And I guess my biggest thing for me would be, I would be irritated with that, right? But I would be even more irritated if I knew that my sibling was the one that was pushing my parent out to be in a different house just because they don't want to be up under my tutelage. Like, it's one thing if my parent is just like, I kind of want to live somewhere else, I want to get a different place, then that's fine. But if my sibling is in their ear and putting our mother in a position to where she has to, like, pay a mortgage,
that's real beef
then,
right there.
Then I have an issue with that. I have an issue with my sibling because why are you putting mom in this position just because you can't get a place and you don't like living under my rules?
And here's the thing about it. There is something to, and maybe it's unsaid. If I do buy you something, I do expect you to die there. Okay. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that towards Andrew. I'm just saying if I buy my parent a house to, like, for you to live in, it's paid for, you ain't got to worry about no mortgage. There is something to, hey, I'm not going to come by and say, hey, these are the rules to my house. This is your house. You can do whatever you want with your house, except sell it. Like you have to live there. And maybe that is too much. Maybe that's too much pressure. That's why I will never buy someone a house and just tell them you can live there. That will fit. Whatever house I give will be my house, and you are a renter. Okay. You get what I'm saying? like I'll probably put your money in escrow or whatever. So, like, just so if you decide to leave, I'll give you back the money that you was giving me. But at the end of the day, I don't want to hold nobody, and I don't want nobody to be manipulated to the point where, that's real sibling beef right there, to where you're telling mom, hey, this house where you're not paying for, you need to move because, you need your independence. It's like, whoa, what's going on with that? Right. Yeah, but it's crazy.
So we get to Britt's event.
Wow.
She says that shapewear doesn't have anything to do with the country club, but she wanted something nice for the ladies to come dressed up and do. Immediately, I was like, there was no vision here.
No, it's
and
not.
This thing is going to be a janky mess.
Yeah.
So they're still setting up when Shamia and Kelli arrive. She talks about how she wants everyone to get a taste of her life. They're on her side of town, and the ladies are going to go golfing.
Now here's the thing about it, right?
Go ahead.
I understand that a lot of people don't like label whores and things like that. She had a Balenciaga talk about Shamia. And it was plastered all over her. She basically,
Chanel earrings.
Yeah, she looked like a walking billboard. Even though I did have a problem with the label being all over the clothes, I think I had a bigger problem with it being black. I think like everybody else is wearing bright colors, you know, pink, light blue, whatever it is. And I'm just like, why are you wearing black? Like, it just comes off as if it's like, it just seemed too harsh for the type of event that it was. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, because we did talk about it while we were watching it. It just kind of looked like Shamia. She is a beautiful woman, like, no doubt about it. But all the labels, like, it just kind of looked a little tacky. Even the shoes, I was just kind of like, Shamia, like, you could have came harder.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
And guess what? My family's from the South, so I can say it. She looked country, and not in the best way. You know what I'm saying? In the, you know what, you look country, you look out of place, basically. Yeah.
So she wants everyone. Oh wait, no, I already read that. So they do their little golfing. They really don't know what they're doing. Kelli and Shamia talking about they too hot. They want to sit down and have some champagne. They're not really trying to do this, and they're also kind of messing up the green with their stilettos. So that's another thing where I'm just like, okay, Kelli, just not thinking things through.
Yeah.
Like, so Angela, when she arrives, greets Britt. They do compliment each other.
Yeah.
And they go inside and everyone sits down. She's got some guests there that are not part of the cast. And apparently the menus were distributed to her whole party. The menu was only supposed to be distributed to the cast, and everyone else was just supposed to have cocktails.
Yeah.
I think that is tacky.
No, it's very tacky.
I think that's very tacky because, like, this is the type of thing that makes me feel like, you know how people are just like, oh, like, don't be somebody who accepts last minute invites or just a body to the party. Because I don't want to be treated like a body in the party. For your photo shoot. Like, like, if you're going to treat the cast one way, treat everybody that way. But honestly, I think it was a thing of finances that they may have put the money up for this event, and they're not going to be able to put all that money up for all of their guests. So
I had an epiphany while you was talking. Like, something just came to me.
Yeah,
right?
tell me.
Here's what I think happened, right? Even though she said she never been to a country club, but this is her side of town, she want to show them her way of living. This is PR right here. Because Britt knows that she is being seen as a gangster. Right, so she's doing the total polar opposite of it.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
because I'm just like, because she did it so badly. I'm just like, this does not seem like this is how you live.
It's not seamless at all. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically, she went on Google like how to have a country club party and things like that. She's trying to rebrand herself as being a housewife, right? Instead of being the girl that threatened Kenya with the pistols and whips and things of that nature, being the one that always have their stick on them. You know what I mean? So now when you was talking, I was like, I get to show you how I live. But whole time, you never lived like this. You probably never been there. You didn't even know that a golf ball was called a golf ball. So I think this is her trying to rebrand her in some way, trying to get in the good graces of basically the other housewives. I think she could feel the distance and things of that nature of them talking about Kenya, even at her peace brunch that she kind of overreacted to. I think this is fake. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So Britt explains to the ladies that the shapewear is supposed to be so comfortable that you feel naked. She hands the ladies their gifts, which is the shapewear that they're going to be gifted.
Okay.
But all the sizes are basically wonky. She just was like, if that's not your size, I have other stuff in order to get you your right size.
Okay.
And then on the TV, she has a demonstration of how the shapewear like helps to suck you in. Britt talks about how her inspiration was after the BBLs. Essentially, she didn't like the faja that she had to wear, so she wanted to create something that she would actually like to wear every day. Her staff, apparently with the insurance company, was able to get whatever surgery they wanted.
Yeah.
Through her, and that part I didn't quite understand. Like, why would she even do that?
I don't even understand either.
But Angela clears up that Charles doesn't have a side baby, and Brett says Angela said I could be one of your whores, and then they're just like, but we're going to move past that. Like, we were just going back and forth.
Here's the thing: everything about this scene gave off. It gave off as if I put it together. I don't know how to produce a scene. I don't know how to produce a show and things like that. Because it just gave off as Angela. There was no right time or right place to even talk about Charles. So she just brought him up randomly. You know what? Hey, we here, and Charles don't got no side babies. You get what I'm saying?
And I also thought it's not necessarily weird that Charles was sitting with the ladies, but I just kind of felt like for the conversations that they had, he probably didn't need to be present.
No, that's why I was asking you. I said, where's Britt husband at? Like, it just seemed like Charles didn't even have to be at this event. Truth be told, Britt husband didn't even have to be at the event, because I wonder, are they considered cast and did they get something to eat? You get what I'm saying? Listen, all of it was tacky. It is very tacky to have a party, have a gathering, and not offer food. 100%. If you can't offer food, then don't don't have no gathering, don't have no party.
Yeah. So apparently everyone thinks Drew's a liar.
Okay.
Drew called Shamia a lapdog because she took back information that wasn't true to Porsha to take those words and twist them to pretty much stay in Porsha's good graces. And of course, again, we're talking about the PJ college comment.
A comment that's not even worth talking about, to be honest.
Drew is saying that she's owning it. She was upset by what Shamia did. And Shamia says that Shamia is basically like, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you talk about calling me a lapdog. Then she starts barking and she turns her head and clearly she's really irritated.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit loud and Britt tells them if they want to have these conversations, they need to take it outside, but everybody just ends up leaving.
Yeah, you know what's kind of funny? Britt over here trying to tell people we going to have some class and we going to have some coof about us. Well, whole time the restaurant had to get in touch with Angela, I think it was, who threw the party, and where she was threatening pistols and whips and things like that, saying, hey, don't bring your friends back over here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now Britt is supposed to be the voice of reason because you know why? She's trying to rebrand herself. I'm not a gangster. Yeah. Right? Here's the thing about it, right? Is Drew a liar? Yes. That's not even like up for discussion, right? Is Porsha a liar? Yes. That's not even up for discussion. Do most of the housewives lie? Yes. That's the whole point, right? Here's the thing about it, right? If you want to be taken seriously, be serious. And this whole episode to me was about Shamia in the worst way. Literally, you had people who was defending you. You had some folks who was basically saying, hey, Shamia, you was wrong for trying to bring up an issue that you said you was good with and then trying to say you're not good with on camera. You're not standing 10 toes down, right? But now this episode was 100% about Shamia, in my opinion, in the worst way, because I was cringing throughout the whole episode, right? Even when she was talking up at the radio, even when she was talking at the table, I was like, who told Shamia that she was funny? Do you hate when you tell somebody that like they're funny and this is probably the first time they ever heard that? So now they feel the expectation that I have to be funny every time, or I have to show up as this person every time. Shamia, everything is not funny. You don't have to make everything a joke. And the thing about it is, even though Drew was, and this is crazy, the fact that I'm actually defending Drew, and I'm not even a Drew fan, to be honest, but I 100% agree with Drew, right? And the whole thing of, hey, you are a lapdog, and I'm not saying hearsay. I'm not telling Angela this. I'm telling you this, right? And I'm standing in it, and I understand that, your feelings are hurt, and you may not have liked it, and I may apologize and things of that nature. But here's the thing about it. I am not calling you anything that you did not make fun of yourself and took pictures of that is still currently on your Instagram, right? That you currently still barking, that you constantly over here now picking up this beef with Drew now. Now it's beef to where you calling her the B word, and now you calling her out her name. And whole time, guess who's sitting there quiet?
Porsha.
Guess who? While you over here turning your head, barking and things like that, talking about human years or dog years, guess who's over there cringing too with me? Porsha. Right? Yeah. So that's why I'm like, it gives off this whole episode that, you know what? I know how to get back in Porsha graces, because you know what? I did say I was good with her not coming to my wedding, and I did kind of ambush her with that. You know what? I'm going to pick up the beef with Drew, and now we both going to tag team Drew. And it's like, as interesting as Drew may be, because truth be told, when I see her scenes with Ralph or with the stairs that lead to the basement of Ralph, it is boring. I ain't gonna hold you. But if that's her real life, it is her real life. I can't hate on it, right?
Yeah.
But we know for a fact this beef with Drew is not real. We know for a fact that Porsha's beef with Drew is to not talk about her real life with Simon, right? This whole idea, truth be told, all of her checks should go to Simon. All of her checks should go to PJ, because she mentioned how much PJ missed Simon and things of that nature. So it's like, it just gave off really bad, cringy moments for me with Shamia. And I think I'm starting to go with the whole idea of y'all are really two sides of the same coin. Y'all are really the same person, but just in different bodies. And I'm not really a fan of it.
Yeah, I think the kind of laughing at yourself and making light of a situation is good and it's funny and it can make it seem like you're unbothered.
Okay.
But when you're bothered and you're still taking the same route and we can tell that it's actually irritating you, then it's no longer a kiki.
Yeah.
You're barking and you look angry, like you're like actually an angry pit bull. Like,
that's crazy.
Like you don't have, like, if it's not something that you're cool with, you can tell Drew, like, okay, like, because I feel like Drew was trying to have a conversation to mend fences, essentially, even though she was saying, I'm still standing in the fact that I think you're a lapdog and this is why I thought that. But Shamia, like, if you're not a lapdog, then you're not a lapdog.
Don't bark.
if you're not a lapdog, then sit there and tell Drew, I hear what you're saying, but that's not what it is. I'm a loyal friend to my friend right here, and that's all there is to it. And I don't appreciate you calling me a lapdog. But I feel like people want to come across as unbothered so much to where they kind of like play into it a little too much to where they look a little bit crazy. So.
Hey, listen here. You know the saying, Blair. Hit dogs holler.
Yeah.
So guess what? Drew hit her. And guess what Shamia started doing? Barking. Craziness. We're going to talk about this later on this week, guys.
So Drew signs her record deal with Dennis, meaning that they're going to put the album out and continue working together. She is concerned about working together because of the things that she's been hearing about Dennis saying that she tried to sleep with him. So she FaceTimes him and tells him what Porsha said. And he was just like, honestly, like, we do real business over here. We know studio time is not free. And he tells her, we're going to make sure you walk in your purpose. So Drew trusts Dennis. She feels like Porsha was just lying. So she talks about how she really does want to have this sit down with Porsha to clear things up. But they do the signing and it is official. Drew, you're never going to get that sit down with Porsha. She's not going to answer your calls. She's not going to have conversations with you during scenes. Like, Porsha is literally trying to ice her out.
Porsha literally told you ways to get in contact with her so y'all can actually smooth this out and really avoid it every way that she said. She is the one that suggested every way.
At this point, she needs to send a carrier pigeon because how can you get to Porsha?
Don't even do it. Don't even do it because unfortunately, we saw the preview for next episode and she's still talking about this Drew thing. Yeah. Right? Here's the thing about it. I'm happy that all of her team is happy for her. She signed a contract, But to your point, as we was talking while the show was going on, I see a lot of managers there.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, where the lawyers at? And maybe this is, reenactment. Maybe she had it sent to her lawyers. Yeah. But I'm just like, I was like, all these managers, no lawyers.
Sent or not. Guess what? Billy Bob, you got to be here when I sign this paperwork. I did find it very interesting that if she was in Atlanta, that Dennis was on a Zoom, and you suggested while we was watching that maybe he's like taking the Porsche thing seriously. I was like, you know what? You would not film with Drew. And I'm just like, Zoom or not, he's still in the scene with her. It is what it is. Zoom or not, we saw them in the studio. So it kind of sucks that Porsha is trying to drag this all out, even when her baby daddy is saying, like, Porsha crazy. Do not believe nothing that she say. It's like, wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we see Porsha visit Phaedra. We see Phaedra's reel of when she joined in 2010 to when she was released from the show in 2017. Yeah. How she was the classy Southern lady. She had her Apollo era, the frickin' Frack era, and the sex dungeon lie.
Yeah.
Phaedra regrets how she left the group, but whoever is without fault cast the first stone. So essentially, y'all ain't gonna hold me accountable for nothing.
well, so, we ain't gotta cast stones or anything like that. Candy gone. That's why you're back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what you say. Candy gone, and you get to come back.
And she says that she still has a great relationship with Porsha. Phaedra is talking about how she loves all the little. She says Kelli is like a little gnome. And they're pretty much just going through all the girls. Phaedra says Brit is a girl about town. Porsha makes a joke about how Drew is sitting on the hot dog. And Phaedra didn't know that Charles Oakley was married. So Porsha invites Phaedra to Grenada with the ladies. She actually FaceTimes Shamia and Kelli for her to get the formal invite from the host, and they are good to go.
Yeah, this last scene lasted about 11 minutes. I timed it. Yeah. And it was basically like, let's catch up Porsha on basically the season that she missed.
Phaedra.
To catch up Phaedra on the season that she missed, which I don't even understand the whole reason why Phaedra is back. I honestly don't. I don't think Real Housewives of Atlanta was in that bad of a place to bring Phaedra back. Here's the thing about it, right? I don't really understand how Shamia is friends with, or at least keying with Phaedra in any way. I understand that things can be for entertainment. I understand that, that was years ago, but at the same time, the potential damage it could have done to your reputation, Shamia, the potential damage it could have done to your marriage, to your fiance at the time, the potential damage to everything that you worked hard to obtain. I don't understand why you're keying with Phaedra. I really don't. The same way as Tamar and Candy are kind of beefing, it kind of seems like a one-way beef or like whatever it is. That's how I would have been. Listen here, your name come up, I ain't with it. I don't want you on the show. You can have Phaedra back. I won't be on the show, right? But, it is what it is. And truth be told, it it falls in line of what I believe Shamia to be. She got a bad picker when it comes to friends, right? You off top, she giving Kelly best friend, even though they just met. She's still best friends with Porsha, and now she kikiing with Phaedra about, hey, we going to vacation to Grenada. It just comes off as like, yeah, you just need a hug. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to start over, be best friends with your sisters, and then branch out from there. I don't know.
I'm actually not for frickin' Frack Part 2. I feel like their friendship, although it was fun to watch, it was also very dark and messy and hurtful to a lot of people. Yeah. To the point to where I feel like Porsha did not protect her friendship with Shamia. So it just makes me wonder if Porsha, now that she is around Phaedra, is going to pretty much end up burning bridges with a lot of these ladies on the show. And I feel like that is a big possibility, just kind of seeing the aftermath of things going on the after show and all that type of stuff. It kind of seems like Porsha and Britt are kind of on islands of their own when it comes to the cast. So I'm wondering, with Phaedra being on the show, I mean, what is this going to look like when it comes to the other ladies? Yeah. And also, I feel like with Phaedra, when we see Phaedra on the show, like, she really doesn't give much in the show. She does do great with confessionals. And we've heard rumblings of her possibly going to have some type of issue with Angela. Yeah. And I don't see why or how. But I'm interested to see how it goes down and, which side we're going to be on once we actually see what happens.
I'm on Angela's side.
I know. I kind of feel like I'm going to be on Angela's side. But yeah. So, I mean, they've been teasing Phaedra's return. It's going to be this huge thing. I was not really looking forward to it. But I'm here and we're going to see where it goes.
Yeah, and it's late. And it's very late in the season. They already filmed a reunion. Yeah. So it's like here's the thing about it.
Well, they haven't filmed a reunion yet.
Well, they started taking questions for the reunion. And my thing is, if they started taking questions for the reunion, no question is going to be for Phaedra. Because at that time where they asked her for the questions, she wasn't in the season at all. Okay, gotcha. So it's like, if they started filming because he already asked us to send them questions, what are we gonna ask Phaedra? She's just gonna be sitting there. Phaedra's best years on being on Housewives of Atlanta is behind her, right? And I really don't understand what it is. But truth be told, I think I know what it is. I don't think Porsha cares about bridges being burnt. What Portia's doing is a heist, right? Basically, she's like, I'm gonna be on as many seasons on Real Housewives of Atlanta from this point on until they fire me. And I'm going to cake up some money to basically live this life and things of that nature. I don't think she's trying to put on a good show, Porsha. I don't think that's her objective. Her objective is to make as much money as possible in a short period of time. Yeah. With the least amount of work that she ever have to do. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Watch out for us this week for the deep dives. Make sure y'all stay safe during Memorial Day and things of that nature. Don't go too crazy. Right? Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see y'all.
Bye.